Imagine God revealing things to you, but you can't interfere. Some people might look at that as, what's that saying? Like playing sabotage? No, it's like covert operations. You know what I'm saying? It's real, even spiritual covert operations. You know, I did not tell my family first. I did not discuss a lot of stuff with anybody. Um, as things amped up anyway. You know what I'm saying? I did discuss things with my parents. And of course, like the more people you do tell or say something to, they want to debunk the myth. But it's not a myth. You know, like I'm not living because God is a myth. You get it? Like, I'm here because he wants me here. I'm here because he knew the position that I was going to play anyway. He knew what battles I was already going to win. You know, like time is irrelevant to him and to her, because they're one and the same. But it seems like everybody forgets about her. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of that has something to do with me, meaning when they talk about the women in the Bible, you know, we are the um, best representation of God. You don't want to say it too loud because these men get mad. You know what I'm saying? But we are. Mainly because we have to deal with more pain than a man. And we carry pain with pregnancy well. And we understand the movements and the vibrations of not only our bodies, but how it connects to the world and to others. Anytime a woman just can't get that together, something is attached to her. You get what I'm saying? So I'm really making this video to just explain a couple of things, and they're not going to be good things. They're not. You know what I'm saying? So, like, most of the people out here that have those families that just do um, that black magic, like teach it to their kids every generation, whatever. I'm not saying nothing's bad with that because I am definitely not trying to judge anyone in that way at all. You know what I'm saying? It's more on the lines of there is excessive manipulation that has gotten out of hand, right? And so it's gotten out of hand not just in the old era and time, but also in the new. It's more like those generations. It's really it. That was the main reason why we really went to war. Our spiritual gifts were attacked. Our spirituality was attacked, and it was frowned upon by others, but it was only because they didn't have it and they didn't know how to tap into it. And so instead of it being physical, actual wars that took place, it was supposed to be more like a battle of the mind. You get it? So as you grew after being taught, right? Then you would have to make strategic moves to move up in the spiritual rank on the physical. A lot of people wanted the shortcut. I'm just going to say a couple things from the Bible. I feel like everybody has just read scriptures to death, but don't really understand the depth of it. Okay. So, you know how it's that part where there were, I think it was 70 generations and only one decided to go with God. So that's 69 generations or nations with or with an agreement to abomination in some shape, form, or fashion. Because it had to be something covert and corrupt from the inside to penetrate in order for it to just start, you know, being able to be widespread outward, right? And they all had already talked, just kind of like how people are talking now and strategizing, trying to figure out how to just get this girl. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like to them, I'm revealing secrets because a lot of stuff is hidden from us. In actuality, a lot of stuff should not be hidden from us. A lot of things should be at our fingertips for us to learn and grow. you know. So in all these different parts of the world and the country where it's just torn down, it's like so much violence, so much just disparity. People just don't want to give us the credit that we deserve because we actually fixed those disparities. And those other places, they just want the power and the control, and it's kind of like someone just very possessive of over everything. you know it's like if they just don't have it, they feel like they lose themselves, but in reality you have already lost yourself because of that frame of mind. you know um when God says, hey, he wants to open up the heavens, yea, do I open up the heavens, and it comes down to the earth, and then the splitting of the sky and all that kind of stuff. All that is a spiritual way of him saying he wants to release like the rest of your soul to you, the rest of your spirit to you. He wants to release your abundance to you. And no, it does not matter your color. It does not matter your class. It does not matter your status. But because people on the 3D want to rock with that, they want to have everything up to the highest bidder, and that's not how it's supposed to work. You know what I'm saying? If it was a spiritual war and an intellectual war, that's what a spiritual war is. Every time someone passes a test, they go up a level and then they keep growing. So those people would be, considered ordained people because they went through the obstacles, the trials, the tribulations type thing. And so basically, it's already false people in there because they ain't do that. You know what I'm saying? They did the cheap way, cipher, cut out, and just constant cycling, right? So the Bible does say that, hey, we have been in the same 400 years of slavery in different variations, each era in time, because they have perfected the way to mentally put us in a labyrinth, which is an elaborate garden where you can't get out of it. Can't is a negative word. So you shouldn't think like, oh my God, I can't get out of this. You must think in a positive manner, like there's always an answer. There's always a solution. There is nothing in this world that has not been discovered and that doesn't have a solution. Okay? So, but in this previous era and time, because we're in a new one, it's like they thrived off of not telling you. And then they thrive off of getting you to pay for more knowledge, more advice, more guidance, which always tells you to look outside yourself and not within yourself to figure you out. You know what I'm saying? And then the shortcuts, the short amounts that they do give you, it might push you along a little bit, right? So no matter what I'm doing, I go there first before I even start to look at anything on this physical. Because I realize that the physical part to the world is the problem. The 4D, no, it's not. The 5D, no, it's not. The reason why the war has, quote unquote, been going on in the 5D versus on this physical in the way it's supposed to, it's because of the illusion. The illusion is, hey, argue, fuss, fight, and to the death, right? They want to promote that. It keeps the trauma, the drama, the agony just going. And then, everybody knows that, how they feed off the energy, right? So that is an inappropriate way to conduct spiritual business. And therefore, it is not allowed. And even though it might be allowed in other countries, right? But it's specifically banned here. And you never ask yourself why. Excuse my big old belly. Once the rest of these people, go the proper way that God wants them to go, this will go away because they are hurt. They want to throw their weight on me. They want to throw their gastrointestinal problems on me. They want to throw their heart attack, their stroke. They want to throw their brain cancer and all that on me. And I understand that. But I am not the scapegoat, right? I should do a video on that another time because I am the goat, right? You don't know that unless you look me up. But back to like what I was saying before, okay? You know that there are 3 lineages in the Bible that God completely dissolves of, right? I'm just going to say this. When you constantly, continuously do magic all the time, it is possible that you are a part of those 3 lineages that God decides to dissolve. If you hear my dog, she is right here like she wants something that I got, and I don't have no food or nothing. Tulip, good God, girl. Say hey. Cut it out. She loves me in her own weird little way, right? Okay, so you could be a part of that. And the way, if you want to disconnect yourself from that, right? You don't come to me. You don't come to me at all. You actually go to God. Okay? It doesn't matter what you have been taught. It doesn't matter what you think is the appropriate manner to take about how you have resolved issues in your life previously. Because I'm trying to tell you, like, to not do that. I'm not opening her door. The rest of my house is dark, but you can still hear my voice because I'm taking my dog outside. Those lineages attack all of the lineages that I've chosen. And it's for a reason, because their plan was, let's blend the heathens, with the divine, right? But the psychological effect is, let's get them to think that they're the heathens, and we're the divine, because divine people sit on their thrones, they got their crowns, they got their entourage, they got all these things, right? And nothing's wrong with that. But what God looks at is, how do you use it? How do you manage? What's your thought process in what you're doing and why? Are you running your business the right way? And if you are a divine being of any kind, you know it. Certain things don't feel right to you, and you can't do it to other people. You get what I'm saying? So when I've always talked to God since I was a baby, and my family has always seen it, okay? However, though, I would understand the living and the deceased. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Everybody has a plight. Everybody has a situation that they did not understand before they perished. Okay? And sometimes those unresolved issues just keep being unresolved. And everybody wants any parts of their life to be resolved, right? So that's why people like us are here. You know, we have to bridge the gap. We have to blend everything. We have to, take the good, bad, and the ugly and make it into something beautiful. And I've always thought that way. Even if people would come across me and they would have the most devilish things to think and say about me. And some of those words would just tick me off and I would just get the wailing on a person. But at some point, I had to say, I got to get control of the uncontrollable parts of myself. And I made sure to work on that, regardless of what people did to me, regardless of how many people that did things to me. I had to work on that. And I didn't mind doing that. I already was one of the self-discovery anyway. I was constantly always asking questions. I was constantly always trying to figure stuff out, looking for information, because so many trials came my way that I was like, what the fuck is it about me? You get what I'm saying? Like when you got the blueprint on how to walk right, and then you still don't, it's off-putting. It's weird. You get what I'm saying? And you question yourself. And I realized, okay, yeah, that's what the enemy wants me to do, question myself. Because every time I would get close to understanding not only myself, but understanding the world and what was going on, and then understanding why the Bible was given to us the way it was. And it had so many negative connotations in it, mixed with metaphors. These people that do the spell work, they was already in my little head and stuff, you know, and they was trying to block off certain things. They was trying to shut down certain things. They were not trying to have them rise, and come to the forefront. Now, and their analogy to this is, hey, if we get rid of her, everything will stay the same. We can keep doing the crap that we're doing. Problem with that is God allows that, giving you opportunities to rethink your choices, change your life, right? So even when I got to my closest with God of just being anointed, and He didn't want me to change, not what I was saying, how I was saying it, and even the message that were being delivered, because they both wanted urgency to go out, and so I'm trying to get people to understand, if you are doing magic that is doing things to children, are doing things to good people, are taking things from good people, because abundance just doesn't cover money. It covers your health too. It covers your belief, your hope, your circumstance, your situation. It covers all parts of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So if you are an abundant person, you are an abundant person in every area of your life. And so when someone continues to attack you all the time, it's not that you necessarily have done something wrong. It is that person, those people, the devil can see what you are about, the calling on you, the gifts that you have, and the favor. And God is just waiting on you to just get there with your brain, and He gonna turn your light switch on. You get what I'm saying? But all of the demonic activities of all kinds that come from doing magic, they're employed by me now. And I'm trying to say with the S instead of the P, I did that because the devil has to be stopped and the devil has to be absorbed, right? And then the devil that was siphoning from me must be done. Okay? So, but you have to do things in a manner where, no, you're not hurting other people. You're not killing other people. You're not locking people up. You're not sending people with false charges, false allegations, false everything. My dog is running to my room before I could get there. Because she hoping she going to be in there. She not, though, because she going to worry me. So I got to block her out for a second. I love you. I'll be back. Anywho. So, like, life grants you so many opportunities. But there are opportunities for change. Not for continued negativity. And I said on one of my videos, I don't even know when, but God has given these people like 3 times. But I'm talking about 3 whole lifetimes. Not 3 months, not 3 years, whole lifetimes. And they do the same thing. So a lot of chop block is about to go on. And what everybody has to keep in mind, it is not me. All I did was close my energy field off. Because I didn't know everybody that was taking from me. You know, because God informed me, hey, some of these folks have been taken from you before you were born, before you even came out of your mother's womb. And I'm like, you can do that? You know, it's like so much. As I'm learning it, yes, I'm amazed, but I'm also deterred. And the main point I'm trying to make is the people that have had magic done to them. You are the meek, okay? The people doing the magic, all right? They are the damned. So, the way the damned saves themselves is by attaching themselves to the meek in any shape, form, or fashion, especially if they already know that they've done so many things that spirals them on that downward path. And somehow they feel like they can't get out of it. But the key to getting out of it is you must free yourself from your bondage. Whatever your strife is, whatever your situation and conditions are, like you have to look at every part to your life, like strategically. And the reason why the devil looks at your life strategically, there, every crevice where he can get in, oh, he getting in there. You know what I'm saying? He gonna make sure he get his job done, and he gonna have a lot of people checking receipts and balances and things of that nature. So when you think that something is like harmless or it's a joke or it's funny or it's like, oh, I'm just so pissed, I'm just gonna do it, not good thinking at all. Because see, when you do not think about another, God does not think about you. When you want to disregard anyone like they are trash, God does look at you like trash, you know. So it's not a good thing at all to be in that type of headspace, you know. Henceforth, like if you got some drama and trauma, you know, rage, or if you feel slighted in any kind of way, you must go get help. There is no such thing as you don't need help. If you want to stay sane, you must get help. That is how that works. Even your brain must be exercised. In anything that you do the same for long periods of time, that's what the Bible is talking about. It destroys your life. So any part of those 10 commandments that you decide to overdo, it depletes your life. Because those are the deadly sins. That means they don't get to live. They don't. All it is just putting you closer to your death. And if you don't want to die prematurely, it's like all God is saying is stop the bullshit then. You know what I'm saying? Like, magic wasn't created for that. It just wasn't. You know, even though it's a probability, you get what I'm saying? It's still not done in its proper manner, in the negative way. And you can't just be negative, right? There's a proper manner. If you're looking at the good aspect of the negativity, like to do it. And there is an improper way to use your negativity, right? I'm just an example of the proper way to utilize the negativity by strategically thinking and strategically keeping on the forefront of my brain that it is not just my life that is in my hands. I have the world's life in my hands. I didn't even know that's what I was manifesting. But when your manifestations are big, when they're huge, the calling on your life becomes the same, right? And so, even as this was illuminated to me, I went to God and was like, nah, I don't think you got the right person. That joke was like, yes, I do. I was like, wait a minute. You have to be mindful, right? But my prayers were answered because I wanted change. I wanted hope. I wanted love. I wanted respect. I wanted loyalty. I wanted to be acknowledged for what's in here and in here, you know? Like, how could they talk about that so much and then when we use it, we are chastised for it? You see? See how that does not work, right? And I was offered up as a sacrifice so many times by so many people, even people that I did not know, right? To the point where God, shit, my ancestors and angels first, because they going to him like, yo, wake up. Like, yo, this what they doing. And they fucking with her. And I'm just trying to put it as plain as possible, cut into the chase, right? So I'm trying to say, you as a whole that are utilizing the demonic energy and energies of this world, you are a part of those families that God dissolved of in the past. And I was sent to prevent that. But it seems like everyone that was even planted in my energy or I met along the way had other motives. They wanted the list of what was offered and what is mine to be theirs. There is no way in the world. And it's not that I got bags or any of that shit under my eyes. It's the camera and where I'm at, shade, light, blah, blah, blah. But God does not allow like the swapping of someone's life for another person's life. And in the 144 community, chosen community, the original families of this planet, communities, which is my mama's side and my daddy's side, So the devilish people could have done any and everything in the world. God still wasn't going to let me leave this place because they were determined to fix it. That's number one. Number two, everything was supposed to change already. But these people and these vessels have been holding back change, you know. So, you know how you just want to hold on to everything for dear life because you know what's going to happen? Basically, that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But instead of combating it with just not continuing to do harm, the people just amped up the harm, on 1,000. You know what I'm saying? So God's like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not having this. I'm not going there with these folk, you know. And they'll put messages in your ear. They'll put things in your dreams. It's real. It's really real. I can speak the way I am speaking because I felt the realness. I felt the hurt. I felt the pain. I felt the sickness. I felt the disease. I felt the turmoil. I felt the depression, the mood, the anxiety. I felt the loss of love, the loss of my finances, the loss of my life. I have felt all things. And the things I didn't feel, like rape or molestation or pedophilia, stuff like that, it was still being done in my subconscious, in my dream state through spell work. So all I'm going to say is if everyone would have just opened up a book and flipped a page, you would have seen that there are two other ways to manifest. And I have posted it on both of my YouTube pages because it is very vital. It's very important, you know. But it also expresses to God that nobody has any self-control or respect, or they don't value life for what it is, life. So I want everybody to do this, whether you know or not. If your name is in the book of life, it is best for you to start acting as if it is. It is best for you to stop doing the things that don't get you in the book of life. It is best that you do things to reinsure and lock in your continuation of your life. You know what I mean? Because see, how you get life is by giving life to others, not taking it away, not trapping them, not caging them, not binding them. You get it? That will deplete you so fast. And all my devil people out there, they know it. That's why they keep running around trying to find, some more folk that got a whole lot of good shit attached to them, good energy. And they start to suck on them folk. You must understand within yourself that this is not myself acting like this. This is something else that is attached to me that wants to feed. And somehow or another, you allowed it. Whether it was somebody you liked, you thought she looked good, or somebody, she liked and thought he looked good, Even if you can get attached to people emotionally and mentally, it still takes on the same matter, especially if they pick up a spell book behind it. You know what I'm saying? So none of that is good, This is a way to get yourself written out of the book of life if you were in it. A lot of folks already know that. That's why they kept amping up everything and doing more to put me in an unalive state, right? But, you know, my family was depleted in the process. My family was broken up in the process. My families were in disarray behind other people doing things to them too that they were not aware of and that I became aware of. And so even if I spoke to them about it, or even if they're finding out now, it's still going to be unbelievable to them. Especially when I say a person can just do a spell and say, oh, I don't want her to look good. I want her to be ugly. I don't want her to be skinny because, her pop bottle shape going to come back out. Make her fat again and all that. Oh, look, I'm going to do a spell so she eat cakes and candies and all that just to, start packing on that weight and she not looking good. Now, this is how God works. God changes the seasons. He changes the era. He changes the time. So that doesn't stay or get locked in a way to where it could still be used in a continuous basis, right? And what I mean by that is this. Isn't the big booty, big titty, plump lips, black girl swag on 1,000 now? Everybody want it. They was thinking it all along before they ushered it in. But they thought as they ushered it in that they were going to already make up their folk to be similar and likable. Two chosen people where they could just take over them. And basically, like, hey, that harvesting, taking the essence out of one and putting it in another. So this is another way how God fucks people up too. And I'm just really telling you because I want people to really get it and to stop. I'm hoping that if my voice is calmer and I'm not cussing so much and that I am, I don't know, maybe using more words to your liking, that you understand the urgency behind it. See how when I change the light, it don't look like I have bags under my eyes? See, over here, it looks like I have bags under my eyes, right? This is how I need for you to look at life, okay? It's an illusion. You see? The illusion is gone. All you have to do is put on the magic glasses that Dick Gregory told you to pull out and put on so you can see things for really what it is. So let's say if a fake person, she could be made up like me and everything, look like me, all that, right? Take my name, take my birth date, take my money, take my houses, take all that, right? You know what God does? He sends out a team to find you because God knows your vibration, your signature. God is aware of your heart, your mind, your body, your spirit, right? That is why the spirit and the soul never die. That is why that continues to live because that shows the true essence of a person, period. You know what I'm saying? So, and a deity can't go in a unhealed, unhealthy, negative vessel, period. They can't. You know what I'm saying? That's that Venom uh movie all over again. Because he's trying to find, or she's trying to find the right host, right? So it's not like demons just do that. Spiritual beings from the heavens, How are they able to walk on this earth if they can't find a vessel? Not just any vessel. See, the devil can get into any vessel. No. God's vessels must be certain ways, aligned certain ways, thinking certain ways, even in their actions certain ways. It's an embodiment, right? But God goes a little bit further. Let me tell you how you know his people. After he looked for me, find me, bam, somebody comes. They pick me up. They'll say, hey, you might not know about these court dates. You might not know about all these things that are in an uproar, but we know you've had some turbulent times and situations based upon what other people have done. And we're trying to make that right because you're supposed to be the one on that throne, not the other person. We already know energetically that that person is false. We already know that spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, all right, and soul wise, that they don't have a soul and that they do not possess the essence to embody anything in a deity form. Where these people really messed up at is they didn't even carry themselves out as one either. They didn't even look up, the deity to really transform themselves. What they did, they looked at me. Well, they got literature on the same person. You crazy. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy, right? But God says, we're going to get some DNA on you. Your DNA is mine. It's Jesus. It's Enoch. It's the prophets. You get it? So then, once your blood is drawn, right? And they got a way to analyze it and understand it. Believe me, they do. Just as God knows what's going on, they do too. And the object of their game was to get me out of here before God realized who I was. But God is like, I'm 10 steps, 20 steps, I'm 50 steps ahead of anything and anybody all the time. I know every part of the timeline, you know. So, see how they fumbled the ball there? You know. And let's say if they were even successful at turning my light out, like I said on other videos, God would turn my light back on. When God does that, he's already telling you are needed here. And I'm sorry, I can't let you go and just not do your job. So even if I didn't know what my job would be, he would still intervene and get me to understand and awaken me and still remove the negativity away from me. Whether I was enlightened to it earlier or later. It's one of those things that when it's destined, when it's marked, when it's prophecy, when it is written, it will come to pass, you know. So I don't even know how to end this because the idea is become spiritually inclined the right way. Anytime you think you want to step out and become spiritually inclined, the downward or the backward way, stop yourself. Get yourself to understand, like, hey, that way is no more. I gotta grow. I gotta learn. And I gotta prove to myself and to God I deserve to be here. Basically, that's what I did. He gave me plenty of opportunities if I wanted to give up on my life. And I said no. And then as it got closer and people were doing more hard things to me, he said, when you like to know what's on the other side, I'm like, the other side of what? He said, to you. I said, yeah. He said, but you know that's going to take you being alive to do that. I said, all right, I'm cool with that. I want to be alive anyway. So it's easy for me to drop things, drop people, drop situations, move forward, move on, move out of town, switch and move, all that. It's easy, because I take my orders from him and her. I do not take orders from man. I will discuss all things with my parents as much as I can, but I discuss my life with God, And so certain parts to me, I didn't let other people see, because when I would show it, it would scare them. It would intimidate them. It would put them in some form of fear, and it would shake them up. I didn't understand that. See, I was one of those kids where I thought everyone had a brain, had intellect, had foresight, and just had a different way of viewing things. Boy, was I stupid about that, okay? As I think about it. But you don't think that people would be stupid about that. That's like one of those conundrums. It's like you teach intellect in school, but yet intellectuals are kicked out of school. You're tested, you're tried, your parents raise you a certain way, and even if you veer off, but you still pass and you made it, instead of being celebrated, you're being dissolved of in some shape, form, or fashion. People never ask why. People never ask any of the open-ended questions. Because God forbid when you do, no, they want to feed you with a long wooden spoon. But now I understand the analogy of a long wooden spoon, because God told me the same thing. When your rabbit hole is so dark, so dreary, so big, so out of this world, and it has no end, right? And people say, hey, we know that that's a dark hole. No. My shit was so wrapped and intertwined and folded and masked and then bound by wire and everything else. But when you have a determined spirit, and then you realize that your life is being taken and stripped from you, and no one's telling you why, you have this will that doesn't leave you, and it makes you want to get down to who's destroying you, and I put forth that effort to do that. But when I say the rabbit hole goes deep, I was already sitting on my bed getting downloads. And then God stopped, angels stopped, ancestors stopped. They all said, you need to sit down. And I said, I'm already sitting down. They said, no, you need to sit your spirit down. Even as I still say that, shivers go through my entire body. And the level of intensity that was given was of an urgent nature. So I tried calming myself and grounding myself and, calm, woosah to a whole nother degree, right? As they started telling me things, it broke me. I ain't gonna even lie, it broke me. I cried and I cried and I learned and I cried. I grew and I cried. I elevated and I cried. I solved problems and I cried, you know, and I'm still doing that, but I'm better at the tears now. You get it? But I felt things for me, and I also felt things for others to the point where, when you got a whole lot on your to-do list and you just try to figure out where to start, how to handle it, and you need a strategy that just doesn't involve hurting people. Boy, that shit is hard. Because you yourself want to hurt these people. You yourself want to just be like, put them in a chokehold, the full Nelson, you want to become active, you know. And guys, just get active in that different way with that noggin up there. I said, all right, you know, um, I utilize my enemy's tactics against me to my advantage. So I didn't care if my life would end during this process. I made sure I had talked to God about all of that. I made sure to, become Christ conscious, anointed, whatever you want to call everything. I made sure of that. Even though I knew I was going to like heaven regardless. But there are levels to heaven. And I am telling you, I want to be at the very top of heaven, you know. And God said, well, this is what you do. You get up every day, live your life, keep a smile on your face, um, and a continuous heart of love. And I'm like, that's it? He said, no, fool. Even when you got to do this fucked up shit, you got to tell the world and you got to share your story and you got to hear all this shit that's been held back from you. You still got to be happy doing the shit. I said, oh, fuck. What in the world? How do you do that? He said, I'm going to feed you with a long wooden spoon, boo-boo. And so as you go through and come out, we're going to tell you some more. As you come through and come out, we're going to do it again. And at some points, I was like, when is this going to end? When is this going to stop? And that's when God hit me too. You know how long you been asleep? I ain't talking about this lifetime. I'm talking about all your other lifetimes. There's a lot of information that not only have I missed, that I don't know, and that I feel for, and I'm trying, but I still need to understand it, right? So I'm a student every day, which I don't mind because I've always been a student to anything that interests me. And then I've always been a forward-thinking child, meaning whatever or whenever somebody did something fucked up to me or bullshit, I made sure to understand what my position was in that process and also understand like I don't have a position in this process. Like this is not me. This is definitely something from somebody else that they need to work on. You learn how to resolve issues and then dissolve them, you know, which that absorbs and moves it on, you know. You practice it so much, you know how to do it. Brain, body, heart, soul, mind. It's a flushing and a clearing, but everything in you aligns, and it goes right to your heart, like right there. It's like every time you have an intention and you are like firm, your whole body is saying yes, or your whole body is saying no. It's the same thing. It's just that whatever that intention is that you have figured out and found out that relates to a place in your life, a time in your life, and you were able to solve it, you must remember that incident. You must remember that feeling. You must recognize that feeling when it comes through and understand how to lock it in. That is how you get over your past. Because what God is saying, there are going to be times that you're going to have to lock back into that frequency and pull that out to keep you on your journey, to keep you in a clear state and a mind frame, So everything you do has a feeling, it has a vibration, it has a long lasting effect, and it's up to you on which way you want it to affect you. Everything negative that anyone has ever done to me, yes, I have cried about it. I have fussed about it. I have argued about it. I have cursed people out about it. I have fought people over it. After all of that, I don't care if I go to a bookstore or I go to the magazine section in any place, I find something creative to do, period. It doesn't matter if I'm taking a class, whether it's dance, whether it's a new skill, a new career. You must push yourself, force yourself beyond that situation. The reason why it's so important is because it releases the stuck energy. It releases the stuck mentality. It releases the fucked up shit, And it's not like you don't have to think about it, but when you put a task in front of that is a motivator to get you out of that rut. But you have to figure out what that motivator is and then work on that motivator. And then as you're working on that motivator or motivation, piece, you can reflect on that situation. You can analyze it so many different ways. And you can understand your faults and that other person's faults. Then what you can do is you can also want to talk to that person about it, write a letter about it, or talk to a counselor about it, or just talk to God about it. Like talk to yourself, talk, you know. It's things like that that will gradually get you out of that sunken state, you know. And it helps just to not play the blame game. Like any endless battle that doesn't have an end to it at all, you must remove that from your being. Like, you cannot, like, walk up on a person and be like, you did this last time. You're going to do this again. And now, look, I got to work on that still because I got a couple people that's did me like that, right? But they're so fresh in my energy that I could just tell who they are. But you're not supposed to do that every time you see a person. And if months and years and go by, it's like, no, 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 no. So when you understand how to pump the brakes on your life, certain situations, and convert certain things, that's not saying you got to do away with it. It's just moderation. Moderation helps to not start manipulation. Okay. All right. Well, I thank everybody for their time and listening to me. I hope all of this helps you. And I try not to curse but so much, but the urgency is still there, and you must pay attention to all things that God is showing you. That's the key for you moving into the new version of your life. All right, everybody take care and have a wonderful, wonderful night.